Welcome everyone. Stop for a moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself one simple question. Am I living or am I just existing? We all have the same dreams. Traveling the world, owning a business, finding love, and feeling truly alive. But what are you doing today to make that happen? What are you doing right now to create the life you've always dreamed of? Are you still endlessly scrolling on social media, watching random videos and making excuses? Are you still sleeping in, afraid of failure and hoping things will magically change? Listen, this life is real. This world is real, and your time is limited. There are no do-overs, no second chances. You don't get a new life to try again. This is it. This is your life right now, in this moment. In this video, I'm going to tell you the truth. No one else will. I'm not here to give you empty motivation. I'm here to hold up a mirror so you can see the reality and wake up from the sleep you didn't even know you were in. You want to change your life. You want to speak better English, earn more money, and become confident, powerful, and successful. So don't just watch this video. Feel it. Listen with your soul, with the pain of what you've wasted, and with the desperate need to change. Listen like your life depends on it, because it does. If you're ready for more honest talks and real advice, not sugar-coated lies, then subscribe to this channel right now. We don't just help you improve your English, we help you change your life. Let's begin. Let's learn how to stop wasting the one precious life you've been given. Lesson 1. Time is your life, don't kill it. Time is the most precious resource we have, yet it's often the one we waste most carelessly. Unlike money or possessions, time cannot be earned back once it's gone. Every second you spend is a piece of your life, and when you kill time, you're essentially throwing away part of your existence. We often fall into habits of procrastination, endless scrolling, or doing things that don't align with our goals, thinking we have plenty of time. But the truth is, time is finite, and how we use it determines the quality and direction of our lives. If you want to live with purpose, fulfillment, and impact, you must treat time as sacred. It's not just ticking, it's shaping your future. Every moment matters, and every choice you make with your time either builds your life or breaks it down. Respecting time means respecting yourself. Solution: how to stop killing time. To stop killing time, start by becoming aware of how you spend it. Audit your daily routine and identify where your hours are going, especially the ones lost to distractions or unproductive habits. Then set clear goals that give your time, direction, and meaning. When you know what you're working toward, it's easier to stay focused. Prioritize tasks that align with your values and long-term vision, and don't hesitate to eliminate things that don't serve you. Reduce distractions by turning off notifications, setting boundaries, and creating environments that support deep work. Finally, practice mindfulness. Be present in each moment so that time feels fuller and more intentional. When you treat time as a gift instead of something to waste, you begin to live with clarity, purpose, and power. Lesson 2. Stop blaming and start building. Blaming is easy. It's a reflex, a way to protect our ego when things go wrong. We blame the economy, our parents, our boss, our circumstances, even fate. But every moment spent pointing fingers is a moment lost in progress. Blame keeps us stuck. It convinces us that we're powerless, that someone else holds the key to our success or failure. But here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. The only way forward is to take ownership and start building. When you stop blaming, you reclaim your power. You shift from victim to creator. Life will always throw challenges your way, unfairness, setbacks, rejection, but your response is what defines you. Builders don't wait for perfect conditions. They work with what they have, where they are, and they keep moving. Blaming is noise. Building is action. And action is what transforms dreams into reality. This lesson isn't about ignoring injustice or pretending everything's fine. It's about choosing to rise above it. It's about asking, what can I do now? Instead of, why did this happen to me? The moment you stop blaming is the moment you start living with intention. You begin to shape your future instead of being shaped by your past. Solution: how to shift from blaming to building. To break free from blame, start by practicing radical responsibility. Own your choices, your mindset, and your reactions. Reflect on what you can control and take small steps toward improvement. Replace complaints with action. If something's broken, fix it or find a way around it. Surround yourself with solution-oriented people who inspire growth. Most importantly, develop a builder's mindset. Focus on progress, not perfection. When you stop blaming and start building, you become the architect of your own life. Lesson 3, your comfort zone is a trap. Escape it. Your comfort zone feels safe, familiar, and easy, but it's also deceptive. It's the place where growth goes to die. When you stay in your comfort zone, you avoid risk, discomfort, and uncertainty, but you also avoid progress, discovery, and transformation. Life begins at the edge of what you know. The comfort zone is a trap because it convinces you that good enough is good enough. It whispers that you're fine where you are, even when deep down you know you're capable of more. It's not that comfort is bad, it's that staying there too long makes you stagnant. You stop challenging yourself, stop learning, and eventually stop dreaming. Escaping your comfort zone doesn't mean diving into chaos. It means choosing growth over ease. It means saying yes to opportunities that scare you, trying things you might fail at, and embracing the awkwardness of being a beginner. Every successful person you admire once stood where you are, faced with the choice to stay safe or step into the unknown. They chose courage, and so can you. The truth is, discomfort is the price of progress. The more you stretch yourself, the more you discover your strength, your resilience, and your potential. Your comfort zone may feel like a sanctuary, but it's actually a cage. The key to freedom is action. Solution: how to escape the comfort zone. Start by doing one thing each day that challenges you, something that makes you nervous or stretches your limits. Set goals that push you beyond your current capabilities. Surround yourself with people who inspire growth, not complacency. Embrace failure as feedback, not defeat. And most importantly, remind yourself daily that comfort is temporary, but growth is forever. Step out, and your life will expand with you. Lesson 4, I'll do it later, is the biggest lie. I'll do it later sounds harmless. Even responsible, it gives the illusion of planning, of control, but in reality, it's often a mask for procrastination, avoidance, and fear. It's the biggest lie we tell ourselves because later rarely comes. We push dreams, goals, and responsibilities into a future that's always just out of reach. Days turn into weeks, weeks into years, and suddenly the things we meant to do are buried under the weight of missed chances. The truth is, later is a trap. It's a comfortable excuse that keeps us from facing discomfort, from risking failure, and from stepping into growth. Every time you say, I'll do it later, you're choosing delay over progress. You're giving away your power to a moment that doesn't exist yet. The only time you truly own is now. Action lives in the present. Success is built in the now. Waiting for the right time is like waiting for a train that never arrives. If something matters, it deserves your attention today, not someday. The people who achieve great things aren't necessarily more talented, they're just more committed to acting now. They understand that momentum is everything and hesitation kills it. Solution: how to break the later habit. To escape the trap of "I'll do it later," start by recognizing when you're using it as a delay tactic. Replace vague intentions with specific actions, set deadlines, make schedules, and hold yourself accountable. Break tasks into smaller steps so they feel less overwhelming. Use tools like timers or to-do lists to stay focused. Most importantly, build the habit of starting, even if it's imperfect. Progress beats perfection every time. When you act now, you reclaim your time, your goals, and your life. Lesson 5. Stop thinking, start doing. Thinking is important, but overthinking is a trap. We often convince ourselves that we need more time, more planning, more clarity before we take action. We analyze, hesitate, and wait for the perfect moment that never comes. The truth is, no amount of thinking can replace doing. Action is the bridge between ideas and results. You can dream all day, but unless you move, nothing changes. Stop thinking, start doing isn't a call to recklessness, it's a call to courage. It's about breaking free from the paralysis of analysis and stepping into motion. Overthinking breeds doubt. The more you think, the more you imagine obstacles, risks, and reasons to delay. But action builds confidence. Every step you take teaches you something new, sharpens your skills, and brings you closer to your goals. You don't need to know everything to begin, you just need to begin. The most successful people aren't the ones who had perfect plans. They're the ones who started, stumbled, learned, and kept going. Thinking without action is like staring at a map, but never taking the journey. Life rewards movement, not hesitation. Solution: how to shift from thinking to doing. To escape the overthinking loop, start by setting a small, clear goal and act on it immediately. Break big tasks into tiny steps and focus on completing just one. Use timers or accountability partners to stay on track. Replace perfectionism with progress done is better than perfect. Limit your planning time and commit to execution. Most importantly, build momentum by celebrating small wins. The more you act, the easier it becomes. Thinking may spark ideas, but doing turns them into reality. Start now and let action be your guide. Lesson 6, be that guy. Be that guy isn't just a phrase, it's a mindset. It's about becoming the person who shows up, stands out, and sets the standard. The guy who doesn't wait for permission, doesn't follow the crowd, and doesn't make excuses. He's the one who leads when others hesitate, who works when others complain, and who dares when others doubt. Being that guy means living with intention, integrity, and intensity. It's not about arrogance, it's about ownership. You take responsibility for your actions, your growth, and your impact. You don't just talk about goals, you chase them. You don't just dream, you build. Most people settle for average because it's safe. But that guy chooses excellence even when it's uncomfortable. He's disciplined when it's easier to be lazy. He's focused when distractions are everywhere. He's resilient when life throws punches. And because of that, he earns respect, not just from others, but from himself. Being that guy means becoming the kind of person you admire. It's about rising above mediocrity and choosing greatness, moment by moment. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent. You don't need to be the loudest, you need to be the most committed. The world doesn't need more followers, it needs more leaders. So be that guy, the one who inspires, who builds, who leads by example. Solution: how to become that guy. Start by defining your values and living by them daily. Set high standards for yourself and stick to them even when no one's watching. Take action consistently, even when motivation fades. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow. Eliminate excuses and replace them with effort. Focus on progress, not perfection. When you choose discipline, courage, and purpose, you become that guy, the one who makes things happen. Lesson set: you versus you. The greatest battle you'll ever fight isn't against the world, it's against yourself. You versus you is the ultimate challenge because it's constant, silent, and deeply personal. It's the fight between who you are and who you could be, between your excuses and your potential, between comfort and growth. Most people think their obstacles are external: lack of time, lack of support, bad luck. But the truth is, the biggest barrier is often internal. It's the voice that says, "I'm not good enough, I'll start tomorrow," or "what if I fail?" That voice isn't your enemy, it's your test. Winning this battle doesn't mean becoming perfect. It means becoming better than you were yesterday. It means showing up when you don't feel like it, pushing through doubt, and choosing discipline over distraction. The version of you that wants to grow, succeed, and evolve is already inside you, but is buried under layers of fear, laziness, and self-doubt. Every time you choose effort over excuses, you chip away at those layers. You become stronger, sharper, and more aligned with your purpose. This lesson is about accountability. You can't control everything around you, but you can control your attitude, your habits, and your choices. The real competition isn't with others, it's with the weaker version of yourself. And every day, you get to decide who wins. Solution: how to win the battle against yourself. Start by identifying your limiting beliefs and challenging them. Set clear personal goals and track your progress daily. Build habits that support your growth. Wake up early, train your body, feed your mind. When you feel resistance, lean into it. Surround yourself with people who push you forward. And most importantly, commit to showing up for yourself, especially when it's hard. That's how you win. That's how you evolve. Lesson 8, work on your willpower. Willpower is the silent force behind every meaningful achievement. It's what helps you say no when temptation calls, push forward when motivation fades, and stay committed when things get tough. But here's the truth: willpower isn't something you're born with in fixed amounts. It's a skill, and like any skill, it can be trained, strengthened, and sharpened. Most people rely on fleeting motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Willpower, on the other hand, is your internal engine. It's what keeps you moving when the excitement wears off. Working on your willpower means building mental toughness. It means choosing discipline over comfort, consistency over chaos. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in, sticking to your goals when distractions are everywhere, and doing what's right even when it's hard. Willpower is the difference between wishing and winning. It's the quiet decision to keep going, even when no one's watching. And the more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. This lesson isn't about being perfect, it's about being persistent. You'll slip, you'll struggle, but each time you choose effort over excuse, you grow. Willpower is the foundation of self-respect. When you honor your commitments to yourself, you build confidence, clarity, and control. Solution: how to strengthen your willpower. Start by setting small, achievable goals, and following through. Consistency builds trust in yourself. Remove temptations from your environment to reduce decision fatigue. Practice delayed gratification by resisting short-term pleasures for long-term gains. Use routines to automate discipline and conserve mental energy. Track your progress and celebrate small wins to stay motivated. Most importantly, remind yourself daily why you started. Willpower grows through action, not intention. Train it like a muscle, and it will carry you through anything. Lesson 9. Comparison is killing you. Comparison is a silent killer. It creeps in slowly, disguising itself as motivation, but it poisons your self-worth. You scroll through social media, see someone's success, their perfect body, their dream job, and suddenly your own life feels small. You start measuring your progress against someone else's highlight reel, forgetting that what you're seeing is curated, filtered, and often exaggerated. The truth is, comparison doesn't inspire, it paralyzes. It makes you feel like you're always behind, never enough, and constantly chasing someone else's version of success. When you compare, you lose sight of your own path. You stop appreciating your unique journey, your strengths, your growth. You begin to mimic others, trying to fit into molds that were never meant for you. And in doing so, you kill your authenticity. You trade your originality for imitation. But here's the thing, no one can do what you do the way you do it. Your story, your voice, your perspective are irreplaceable. Comparison blinds you to that truth. It also breeds resentment. You start to envy others instead of celebrating them. You feel bitter instead of inspired. And worst of all, you turn that bitterness inward, criticizing yourself for not being better, faster, or more successful. But success isn't a race, it's a personal journey. The only person you need to compete with is the version of you from yesterday. Growth happens when you focus inward, not outward. This lesson is about reclaiming your peace. It's about choosing self-respect over self-doubt. When you stop comparing, you start living. You begin to build a life that's true to you, not one that's shaped by someone else's timeline or achievement. Solution: how to stop comparison from killing you. Start by becoming aware of when and why you compare. Catch yourself in the act and pause. Remind yourself that everyone's journey is different and success looks different for each person. Limit your exposure to triggers. Curate your social media feed to include people who uplift and inspire, not intimidate. Practice gratitude daily to focus on what you have, not what you lack. Set personal goals based on your values, not others' expectations. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small, and track your progress to stay grounded in your own growth. Most importantly, develop self-compassion. Speak to yourself with kindness and honor your pace. When you shift your focus from comparison to self-improvement, you reclaim your energy, your confidence, and your joy. Lesson 10, don't take advice from those who haven't done it. Advice is everywhere: friends, family, strangers online, even people who've never walked the path you're on. But here's the hard truth: not all advice is created equal. Listening to people who haven't done what you're trying to do can be dangerous. They may mean well, but their words are often rooted in fear, assumptions, or secondhand opinions. If someone hasn't built a business, they can't truly guide you through entrepreneurship. If they've never chased a dream, they won't understand the grit it takes to keep going when things get tough. Taking advice from the wrong people can plant doubt, slow your progress, and steer you off course. The best guidance comes from experience, from those who failed, learned, and succeeded. People who faced the same challenges and found a way through. Their advice is grounded in reality, not theory. They speak from scars, not speculation. When you surround yourself with doers, builders, and achievers, you absorb their mindset, their strategies, and their resilience. You learn what works and what doesn't from those who've lived it. This lesson is about discernment. It's about protecting your vision from voices that haven't earned the right to shape it. Respect everyone's opinion, but filter it wisely. Your journey deserves wisdom, not noise. Solution: how to choose the right advice. Start by identifying your goals and seeking mentors who've already achieved them. Ask questions, study their journey, and learn from their mistakes. Be cautious of advice that's vague, fear-based, or rooted in theory. Surround yourself with people who take action, not just talk. Trust your instincts and always weigh advice against your own values and vision. When you listen to those who've done it, you gain clarity, confidence, and direction. Lesson 11. Pick yourself. In a world obsessed with validation, approval, and permission, the most powerful decision you can make is to pick yourself. Too often, we wait for someone to notice us, to promote us, to tell us we're ready. We wait for the perfect opportunity, the right connection, or the green light from someone above. But here's the truth, waiting is a trap. The longer you wait, the more you delay your growth, your impact, and your dreams. The people who make things happen aren't the ones who were chosen, they're the ones who chose themselves. Picking yourself means stepping into your power. It means recognizing that you don't need anyone's permission to start creating, leading, or building. You don't need to be discovered to be valuable. You don't need a title to be a leader. You don't need a platform to speak your truth. When you pick yourself, you stop playing small. You stop shrinking to fit into someone else's mold. You start showing up fully, boldly, and unapologetically. This lesson is about ownership. It's about taking responsibility for your path, your choices, and your future. It's easy to blame the system, the gatekeepers, or the lack of opportunity. But when you pick yourself, you stop waiting and start building. You become the author of your story, not a character in someone else's narrative. You create your own momentum. You become the opportunity. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. It's not about ignoring feedback or rejecting collaboration. It's about knowing your worth and acting on it. The world doesn't need more people waiting to be picked. It needs more people brave enough to raise their hand, step forward, and say, I'm ready. Because when you pick yourself, you give others permission to do the same. You become a catalyst for change. Solution: how to pick yourself and move forward. Start by shifting your mindset. Stop seeking permission and start seeking purpose. Identify what you truly want and take the first step, even if it's small. Build your own platform. Create your own opportunities and share your voice consistently. Surround yourself with people who support your vision, not just your comfort. Learn to trust your instincts and embrace your uniqueness. Stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself every single day. When you do, you'll unlock a level of freedom, confidence, and impact that no one else can give you because it was yours all along. Lesson dues: no risk, no story. Life without risk is like a book with blank pages, safe but empty. Every great story you've ever heard, every person you admire, every breakthrough that changed the world began with a risk. No risk, no story isn't just a catchy phrase. It's a truth that defines the difference between existing and truly living. When you avoid risk, you avoid growth. You stay in the shallow end of life, never venturing into the deep waters where transformation happens. We're conditioned to seek comfort, to play it safe, to follow the rules and avoid failure. But the irony is, the greatest regrets don't come from the risk we took, they come from the ones we didn't. The job we didn't apply for, the words we didn't say, the dream we didn't chase. Risk is uncomfortable, yes. It's uncertain, unpredictable, and often scary. But it's also the birthplace of courage, creativity, and character. Taking risks doesn't mean being reckless. It means being brave enough to step into the unknown with purpose. It means trusting yourself even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. It means choosing action over hesitation and passion over fear. The people who leave a mark on the world aren't the ones who played it safe, they're the ones who dared to leap. They failed, they stumbled, but they kept going. And in doing so, they wrote stories worth telling. This lesson is about choosing boldness. It's about realizing that the best parts of life, the love, the success, the fulfillment, live on the other side of risk. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be willing. Because when you take risks, you create moments that matter. You build a life that's rich with experience, not just routine. And one day, when you look back, you'll have a story that's worth remembering. Solution: how to embrace risk and write your story. Start by shifting your mindset. See risk not as danger, but as opportunity. Identify what you truly want and ask yourself what's holding you back. Break big risks into smaller, manageable steps so they feel less overwhelming. Surround yourself with people who encourage bold moves and challenge your comfort zone. Accept that failure is part of the process. It's not the end. It's the lesson. Take calculated risks by preparing wisely, but don't wait for perfect conditions. Most importantly, act. Even small risks taken consistently will build your confidence and momentum. When you choose risk, you choose growth, and you begin writing the story only you can tell. Lesson 13, the clock is ticking. Time is the most democratic resource in existence. Everyone gets the same 24 hours in a day, yet how we use those hours defines the quality of our lives. The clock is ticking isn't just a poetic reminder, it's a truth that quietly shapes every moment of your existence. Whether you're chasing a dream, building a career, nurturing relationships, or simply trying to become a better version of yourself, time is either your greatest ally or your silent enemy. The difference lies in how you treat it. We often live as if we have unlimited time. We postpone goals, delay decisions, and convince ourselves that someday is a valid plan, but someday isn't a day on the calendar. It's a mental escape route we use to avoid discomfort, risk, and commitment. The harsh reality is that time doesn't wait. It doesn't pause for your indecision or rewind for your regrets. It moves forward relentlessly, and it takes your potential with it if you're not paying attention. This lesson is about urgency, not panic, but purpose. It's about realizing that every second you waste is a second you could have used to build something meaningful. The clock is ticking, and that's not meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you up. You don't need to rush through life, but you do need to live it intentionally. You need to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it, because the truth is, the perfect moment is now. Think about the things you've been putting off. The book you want to write, the business you want to start, the person you want to become. What's stopping you? Fear, doubt, laziness? None of those are stronger than time. Time will pass whether you act or not. The only question is, will you have something to show for it? When you embrace the ticking clock, you stop drifting and start deciding. You begin to prioritize what matters, eliminate what doesn't, and live with clarity and conviction. You stop measuring your life in years and start measuring it in actions. And that's where transformation begins. Solution: how to use time before it uses you. To truly honor your time, start by auditing your day. Track how you spend each hour and identify the habits, distractions, and routines that steal your focus. Replace passive activities with purposeful ones. Set clear, actionable goals and break them into daily tasks that move you forward. Create a schedule that reflects your priorities, not just your obligations. Eliminate time wasters like excessive scrolling, multitasking, and indecision. Practice mindfulness to stay present and make each moment count. Surround yourself with people who value growth and hold you accountable. Most importantly, remind yourself every morning that time is a gift, not a guarantee. When you treat each day as a chance to build, learn, and evolve, You stop fearing the clock and start using it to shape the life you truly want. Lesson 14, nobody cares, and that's your greatest power. At first glance, the phrase nobody cares might sound harsh, even discouraging. But if you look deeper, it's one of the most liberating truths you'll ever embrace. Nobody cares not about your failures, your fears, your awkward first attempts, or your messy progress. And that's your greatest power. Because once you realize that the world isn't watching your every move, you're free to act boldly, fail publicly, and grow unapologetically. We often hold ourselves back because we think people are paying attention. We fear judgment, criticism, and embarrassment. We imagine a spotlight shining on our every misstep. But the truth is, most people are too busy worrying about their own lives to obsess over yours. They're not keeping score. They're not waiting for you to mess up. And even if they notice, they'll forget. That's not indifference, it's freedom. When you stop trying to impress everyone, you start impressing yourself. You stop performing and start creating. You stop hiding and start showing up. You begin to take risks, speak your truth, and chase your goals without needing applause. You become the kind of person who moves forward regardless of who's watching. That's where real confidence is born, not from validation, but from self-trust. This lesson is about reclaiming your energy. The energy you waste worrying about opinions, likes, and approval can be redirected toward building something meaningful. When you accept that nobody cares, you stop waiting for permission and start giving yourself the green light. You stop fearing failure and start seeing it as part of the process. You stop shrinking and start expanding. The irony is, once you stop caring what others think, people start paying attention, not because you're perfect, but because you're real. Authenticity is magnetic, and it begins the moment you realize that nobody cares, and that's okay. Solution: how to use this truth to your advantage. Start by shifting your mindset. Remind yourself daily that most people aren't watching, and even if they are, their opinions don't define your worth. Take action without waiting for approval. Launch the project, post the video, speak your mind. Embrace failure as feedback, not shame. Surround yourself with people who support your growth, not your comfort. Practice self-validation by celebrating your own progress even when no one else notices. Most importantly, give yourself permission to be imperfect. When you stop performing for others and start living for yourself, you unlock a level of freedom, creativity, and courage that changes everything. Nobody cares, and that's exactly why you should go for it. Lesson 15, why not now? We all have dreams, goals, and ideas that linger in the back of our minds. We say we'll start tomorrow, next week, or when the timing feels right. But the truth is, the perfect moment doesn't exist. Life is never going to hand you a flawless window of opportunity wrapped in certainty and comfort. That's why the most powerful question you can ask yourself is, why not now? Because now is all you truly have. Waiting feels safe. It gives us the illusion of control. We tell ourselves we need more time, more money, more confidence, more clarity, but often waiting is just fear in disguise. It's procrastination dressed up as preparation. The longer you wait, the more distant your goals become. Momentum fades, motivation dies, and the spark that once excited you dims into hesitation. The cost of waiting isn't just time, it's lost potential, missed opportunities, and the slow erosion of self-belief. Every great achievement starts with the decision to begin. Not when everything is ready, but when someone chooses to act despite the uncertainty. The people who make things happen aren't the ones with perfect plans. They're the ones who start messy, learn fast, and keep going. They understand that action creates clarity, that movement builds momentum, that progress is born from doing, not delaying. This lesson is about urgency, not panic, but purpose. It's about realizing that your life is happening right now, and every moment you postpone is a moment you'll never get back. You don't need to be fully prepared. You just need to be willing, because the truth is you're more ready than you think. The skills will come. The confidence will grow. The path will reveal itself, but only if you take the first step. So ask yourself, what have you been putting off? What idea, goal, or change have you been saving for later? And more importantly, what would happen if you started today? Not perfectly, not completely, just started. Because the difference between a dream and a reality is action. And the only time you can act is now. Solution: how to stop waiting and start now. Begin by identifying one thing you've been delaying, whether it's a project, a habit, or a decision. Break it down into the smallest possible step and do it today. Don't wait for motivation. Create it through movement. Set a short deadline to build urgency and hold yourself accountable. Eliminate distractions and excuses by creating a focused environment. Surround yourself with people who take action and encourage progress. Most importantly, shift your mindset. Remind yourself daily that later is a lie and now is your power. When you start today, you build momentum, confidence, and clarity. The perfect time is a myth. The real time is now. So why not now? Lesson 16. If you don't like your life, create a new version. There comes a moment when you look around and realize this isn't the life you imagined. Maybe it's the job that drains you, the relationships that feel hollow, or the daily routine that leaves you uninspired. You feel stuck, frustrated, and disconnected. But here's the truth. You're not trapped. You're not powerless. If you don't like your life, you have the ability and the responsibility to create a new version of it. Too often, we wait for change to come from the outside. We hope someone will rescue us, that luck will strike, or that circumstances will magically shift. But transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens by decision. The life you're living today is a reflection of the choices you've made, and the life you want tomorrow begins with the choices you make now. You don't need permission to rewrite your story. You just need the courage to start. Creating a new version of your life doesn't mean throwing everything away. It means redesigning your days with intention. It means asking hard questions. What do I truly want? What's draining me? What's missing? It means letting go of what no longer serves you, whether that's toxic habits, limiting beliefs, or environments that keep you small. It means building a life that feels authentic, aligned, and alive. So if you don't like your life, don't complain, create. Don't wait, act. Don't wish, build. The power is in your hands, and the time is now. Solution: how to create a new version of your life. Start by getting brutally honest with yourself. Write down what you love about your life and what you don't. Identify the areas that feel misaligned, whether it's your career, relationships, health, or mindset. Then visualize the life you want in vivid detail. What does it look like? How does it feel? What kind of person do you need to become to live it? Next, break your vision into actionable steps. Set clear goals and create daily habits that support them. Surround yourself with people who uplift and challenge you. Eliminate distractions and excuses. Learn new skills. Take risks and embrace discomfort. It's a sign that you're growing. Most importantly, commit to the process. Reinvention isn't instant, but it's always possible. Your life is your canvas. If the current version doesn't inspire you, paint a new one. You're not stuck. You're just one decision away from a completely different reality. Lesson 17. Expectations, the prison of dreams. Expectations are subtle. They disguise themselves as standards, goals, or even love. But when left unchecked, they become chains quietly, binding your dreams to someone else's vision of success. From the moment we're born, we're handed a script. Go to school, get a job, get married, follow the rules, don't disappoint. And while some expectations can guide us, many become prisons. They box us in, limit our imagination, and convince us that coloring outside the lines is dangerous. The most dangerous expectations aren't just the ones others place on us, they're the ones we internalize. We start believing we must achieve certain things by a certain age, look a certain way, or live a certain lifestyle to be enough. We compare ourselves to timelines that aren't ours and chase dreams that don't belong to us. And in doing so, we lose sight of what we truly want. We trade authenticity for approval. We silence our inner voice to meet outer demands. Expectations can kill creativity. They make us afraid to fail, afraid to try, afraid to be different. They convince us that if we don't meet the standard, we're not worthy. But here's the truth. Your dreams weren't meant to fit into someone else's mold. They were meant to break it. The most powerful lives are built by those who dare to disappoint expectations in order to fulfill their own vision. Solution: how to break free from the prison of expectations. Start by identifying whose expectations you're living under. Parents, society, peers, or even your past self. Ask yourself, do these goals reflect my truth or someone else's? Then, give yourself permission to redefine success. Create your own standards based on your values, passions, and purpose. Practice self-awareness by journaling or meditating to reconnect with what you truly want. Surround yourself with people who support your authenticity, not just your achievements. Learn to say no to paths that don't align with your vision, even if they're popular or praised. Most importantly, embrace imperfection and uncertainty. Your dreams don't need to be perfect, they need to be yours. When you release expectations, you reclaim your power to dream freely, live boldly, and build a life that's truly your own. Lesson 18. Your pain is your power. Pain is universal. Everyone experiences it: loss, failure, heartbreak, rejection, disappointment. It's the part of life we try to avoid, suppress, or numb. But what if pain isn't just something to endure? What if it's something to harness? The truth is, your pain holds immense power. It's not the enemy, it's the fuel. The very thing that broke you can be the thing that builds you if you choose to let it. Pain has a way of waking us up. It strips away illusions, forces us to confront reality, and reveals what truly matters. It teaches us resilience, empathy, and depth. The people who make the biggest impact in the world aren't the ones who've had it easy. They're the ones who've walked through fire and come out stronger. They've turned their wounds into wisdom, their setbacks into strength, and their scars into stories that inspire others. When you embrace your pain, you stop running from it. You stop pretending everything's fine and start facing what's real. That's where transformation begins. Pain is a mirror. It shows you who you are, what you value, and what you're capable of. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also honest. And honesty is the foundation of growth. This lesson is about shifting your perspective. Instead of asking, why me, ask, what can this teach me? Instead of hiding your pain, use it to connect, to create, to lead. Your pain gives you a voice that others need to hear. It gives you insight that others can learn from. It gives you strength that no comfort zone ever could. You don't have to be defined by your pain, but you can be refined by it. You can use it to build something beautiful, something meaningful, something lasting. Because when you stop seeing pain as punishment and start seeing it as power, everything changes. Solution: how to turn pain into power. Start by acknowledging your pain. Don't bury it, numb it, or deny it. Sit with it, understand it. Journal your thoughts, talk to someone you trust, or seek professional support if needed. Then, Identify what your pain has taught you, what strengths it revealed, what values it clarified, what lessons it offered. Use those insights to fuel your goals, your creativity, and your relationships. Channel your emotions into action, whether it's writing, building, mentoring, or simply showing up stronger. Surround yourself with people who honor your journey, not just your victories. Most importantly, remind yourself daily, your pain is not a weakness, it's your edge, it's your story, and it's your power. Lesson D snuff, starve your distractions, feed your focus. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Notifications, endless scrolling, background noise, and constant demands for attention. We live in an age where focus is rare, and that makes it powerful. The truth is, your goals don't need more time, they need more attention. You're not short on hours. You're surrounded by thieves stealing your focus. And every time you give in to a distraction, you delay your progress, dilute your energy, and drift further from your purpose. Distractions feel harmless. They offer quick dopamine hits, temporary relief, and a sense of busyness, but they're deceptive. They keep you occupied, not productive. They feed procrastination and starve momentum. Meanwhile, your dreams sit on the shelf, waiting for you to show up with full presence. Focus is the bridge between intention and achievement. It's the ability to say no to what doesn't matter so you can say yes to what does. This lesson is about discipline. It's about choosing depth over noise, clarity over chaos. When you feed your focus, you unlock creativity, efficiency, and fulfillment. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop drifting and start directing. The most successful people aren't the busiest, they're the most focused. They protect their attention like it's gold because it's island. Solution: how to starve distractions and feed focus. Start by identifying your biggest distractions, apps, habits, people, or environments. Eliminate or limit them with intention. Create a dedicated space and time for deep work. Use tools like time blocking, the Pomodoro technique, or digital detoxes to stay on track. Prioritize your top goals and revisit them daily. Most importantly, train your mind to resist the urge for instant gratification. Focus isn't a talent, it's a habit. Build it, protect it, and let it guide you to greatness. Lesson 20, life doesn't owe you anything. Fight for everything. Life is not fair, and it's not supposed to be. It doesn't hand out rewards just because you showed up. It doesn't owe you success because you worked hard once, or happiness because you've suffered. The truth is, life owes you nothing, and that's exactly why you must fight for everything. Waiting for life to give you what you deserve is a losing game. The world doesn't operate on fairness, it operates on effort, persistence, and grit. This lesson isn't meant to discourage you, it's meant to empower you. Because once you accept that nothing is guaranteed, you stop waiting and start working. You stop expecting and start earning. You stop blaming and start building. The most successful people aren't the ones who were handed opportunities, they're the ones who created them. They fought through rejection, failure, and setbacks. They didn't ask for permission, they claimed their space. You have to fight for your goals, your growth, your peace, and your purpose. That fight might be uncomfortable, exhausting, and lonely at times, but it's also what makes the victory meaningful. When you stop expecting life to be easy, you become stronger. You become the kind of person who doesn't just survive, but thrives. Solution: how to fight for what you want. Start by dropping the entitlement mindset. Replace "I deserve" with "I will earn." Set clear goals and commit to daily action even when it's hard. Build resilience by embracing failure as part of the process. Surround yourself with people who push you, not pacify you. Take ownership of your choices, your time, and your energy. Life doesn't owe you anything, but you owe it to yourself to fight for everything that matters.